You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. And this afternoon on a perfect day in the Big Easy, it's a matchup between two teams that come in with plenty of momentum. As the Black Knights of Army, winners in 6 of their last 7, face the Green Wave of Tulane, coming off back-to-back victories. Hi, everybody. Joel Myers alongside Brian Kitchen. Welcome to Tom Benson Field at Yulman Stadium. Well, when you face Army, Brian, you know what to expect. They come in 3rd in the nation in rushing. Slowing them down, though, is a different story.
They're averaging over 300 yards rushing the football through their first 7 games, but they're getting Christian Anderson, number 4, back. He's been injured for a while. He'll be a huge weapon for them. And Sandon McCoy, their fullback, number 3, who's going to be the guy between the tackles, making it tough on that front 7 of Tulane.
Well, Tulane has scored 38 in each of their last 2. They have a freshman quarterback out of Boca Raton, Michael Pratt, that is getting better by the rep.
He came in here in the spring right out of high school. They injected him into this offense in game 3, and he's been a weapon for offensive coordinator Will Hall, who's trying to transition this offense into a pro-style passing attack, and he's given him the tool to be able to do that.
Tulane 1 deferred to the second half. They'll kick it away. Terrell Robinson over to the far side. The young man from Dallas, Georgia, is back there for Army. And a good one going to Robinson. Fair catch, and it'll be a touchback. So we see the triple option for Army, and you mentioned it, 3rd in the nation in rushing, and they've got a good thing going. They're disciples of the Paul Jones system, aren't they?
That's right. Jeff Monken, who is their head coach, he believes in the run. He wants to control the football. He wants to control the clock. He wants to shorten this football game and give his opponents the least opportunity they'll have offensively. And this is what this offense is designed to do. And we get a look at Anderson, who's back for the first time in a long time, had a lower foot injury. I got at practice. Only 1 start on the year for him.
It's his 2nd start of the season. He's got Robinson in motion. It's McCoy. Sandon McCoy, the fullback, the senior from Kannapolis, straight up the gut for a couple of yards to the 22. Well, normally Tulane is a 4-3 alignment, as they were shut down that time, and a good play on the outside by Angelo Anderson. But normally they are 4-3. They're going to be 3-4 today, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to put 4 linebackers in the game, 2 inside and 2 outside. They're going to play assignment football against this triple option.
It'll be McCoy, and shot down, coming across. It was Chase Kirshen, the free safety, the senior from Knoxville, prevented a big play. He had a crease over to the left side. It's going to be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Kirshen needs to come in all evening long, hard and fast, to be able to shut that down. We've seen them do it successfully. When we talked to offensive coordinator Brent Davis earlier this week, he said if he gets to 3rd and 4, there's a 90% chance that they're going to get a new set of downs. They're 3rd and 5, so let's see what happens if that 90% holds up.
Throwing for the first time, Anderson on the comeback trail, and a little bit too tall for Robinson.
Good route by Robinson, a little comeback on Langham, the corner out wide. Ball just sails on him just a bit, sitting back on that right side. Hadn't been in the game situation in a while for Anderson. First ball that he's thrown in quite some time, and just a little off the mark.
Game time temperature close to 80 degrees in New Orleans. Spectacular weather. Going back deep for Tulane, it's going to be Jaquan Jackson. We're waiting for the punt. Landon Sawyers, or Zach Harding make that. Harding gets into it, a wobbler and a short one. And Tulane's going to have great field position now. Basically outside of their own 40, 42, 43 when they put it out. And now they're going to say it's all the way to the 47. It's only a 23-yard punt. Michael Pratt is a good story because he came up here on an unofficial visit on his own, went to camp here, and paid his $40, and they like what they saw right away.
Yeah, really neat story that Coach Fritz talked about. He's a very charismatic kid who's accurate, and it says by Will Hall, according to him, the 2 elements that you want in a quarterback, and he has them both.
He's got Hutterson in the backfield. And on first down, bouncing out, Hutterson. Yards after contact as well, as kind of typical for both Cam Carroll and Stephon Hutterson, the senior from Petal, Mississippi. So good yardage on first down. He gets 7. all the way across the midfield stripe.
We talked about Pratt in the open, but the reality is they love to run the football at Tulane.
And making a miss in the backfield, Hutterson. He's got a first down inside the 35. Well, while we get carried away with Army because that's what they feature, let's not forget Tulane is 17th in the nation rushing the football.
Yeah, they run the ball about 60% of the time. Pratt gives them the other option to be able to throw the football, but Willie Fritz is a triple option guy. That's what he's done here when he's been at Tulane. This is the first year where they're trying to get a little bit more balance to that offense, and Pratt has given them that element.
They have 2 to each side, taking their time with the play call from coming in from the sideline.
Big tight end James, number 80, is in the slot down here at the bottom. Usually when he's in tight, they're running the football. When he's out wide, it's a different story.
Looking over to Tyreek James's side and in and out of the hands with a wideout. That's Deuce Watts. And they are spectacular talents. His identical twin brother, Fat Watts, Deuce Watts from Rickton, Mississippi.
He's the leading receiver on this football team, and Pratt throws a beauty right into the middle of the field. When I was watching him in warm-up, he was just kind of coasting him out there a little bit. He put a little juice on that one, and Watts couldn't hang on to it.
Flanker's screen. Didn't get the kick-out block, and a good job defensively in the secondary by Malcolm Morrison, their Apache from New Rochelle, New York.
Yeah, you got to love that, Apache.
I like it.
He plays opposite of the dog, which is on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and does a great job sensing out that screen and brings him down with a nice tackle. Very disciplined ball club, these Army cadets. There's not much that they don't do really well.
There's a stiff breeze at the back of Pratt and Tulane if they can't pick up necessary yardage for a first down. And underneath, it's complete. Little comeback route for Deuce Watts, and he's got the first down. Well timed.
Beautiful job. Jabari Moore on the coverage. Really was exactly where he needed to be, but you can't beat that comeback. And Pratt, that precise passing, which they've needed here at Tulane, we see why he's on the field.
It'll be Hutterson. Good lane over to the left side. Bolts inside the 15. He's down at the 13, just short of another first down for Tulane.
And Hutterson is their most reliable back, most versatile as well. There's more to running back than just running the football, and he gives them all the options. He gives them the entire playbook when he's in the game, and we see why he's so effective when he gets downhill north-south in that running game.
2 in the backfield for the first time. Amari Jones joining Hutterson. He's the junior from Frisco, Texas. On second and a yard.
And they have these 2 backs in the backfield, Joel. There's a high percentage. We're going to see a run.
Jones sliding over to the left side. And it's going to be first and goal just inside the 10. So this drive, it was a short field for Tulane. They started at their own 47-yard line as Lowry brought down the running back, the senior from Elmore, Alabama. Tulane scores against everybody, Brian. It's just stopping the opposition has been their issue.
Yeah, they're very effective in the red zone. They're 91%, 38th in the country. Fairly effective. That run game is what helps them. In the red zone, those windows get tighter in the passing game, and that run game is what will bail you out here down inside the 10.
Pratt looks over for the play call on first and goal. Casual approach, I like it. So they weren't in a hurry. In fact, they're going to use their first time out of the contest. Just about 5 minutes gone by, and a successful beginning for the true freshman, Michael Pratt of Tulane out of Boca Raton. Overtime win against Clemson. We're going to have the second-ranked Fighting Irish facing Boston College a little bit later. That's today, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Number 13, Wisconsin, Michigan at the Big House in Ann Arbor. And both games on ABC as well as the ESPN app. You saw Willie Fritz on the sideline. He's got a first and goal. Tulane on a short field. Hutterson's available. Pratt goes the other way, though. He'll keep it, and Pratt, takes a shot inside the 5 as he goes down, coming up out of the secondary. It was McDuffie. Man, he went low. Low man wins. He took a shot.
And Pratt, he's young. He has a tendency, as I've seen over the last couple of games, to get out of the pocket just a little early and come off his progressions. And as a coach, you really just don't want to see this. I love the fact that he wants to be aggressive and lower his hat, but he's a playing quarterback. He's a valuable guy out there.
Good penetration to the backfield by Cedric Cunningham, the free safety. A loss of about a yard or two, and it's going to be 3rd and goal for Tulane. You mentioned they're very good this year in the red zone. Now, Pratt did not start the season as the regular starting quarterback. He came in 3rd game of the year, and as Willie Fritz said to us, he wishes he would have, and hindsight's perfect, but he wishes he would have gotten him into the second half of the Navy game.
Yeah, it had a lot of rain in that game, though. He didn't feel like it was the ideal situation to put him in, so he waited till the next game to do it. It's worked out well for him.
Pratt on 3rd and goal. Underneath, the tight end, and a touchdown for Tyree James. Unaccounted for. They lost the tight end. He came off the right side, didn't he?
Well, they brought everybody lined up on the left side, including the wide receivers across the field. And James just snuck underneath all 3 of them. And Pratt just sat there and waited. Came wide open, easy 6. Nice conversion.
Glover in for the point after, and Merrick Glover has it. So Tulane on the board on a short field. James, the sophomore from Waco, his 10th catch, his 2nd TD.
We can see all those receivers moving to the right as James sneaks underneath, and there's no one there on the other side except Jamari Moore, who was out on the wide receiver. Well-designed play. Got to give credit to Will Hall, the offensive coordinator. Beautiful design. When you get down in that red zone, especially inside the 10, those windows get really tight. And a neat little way to open up your big man for the easy conversion.
It was a 10-play, 53-yard drive, and consider what Willie Fritz has done here. And both guys came from Georgia Southern. Jeff Monken in his 7th year at Army, and he's been considered for a number of jobs. Willie Fritz in his 5th year now at Tulane, and they have competed against the very best. Consider they played Central Florida almost even. They lose that game. Central Florida has got 65,000 undergrads. Tulane's a school of what, 12,000?
Yeah, and you look at their first 4 games, and you talk about bizarre. They were up early, or they were down early against South Alabama in the opener and won the game. Then they were up early in their 2nd game, then lost. Then they were down early in their 3rd and won. And then they were up early in their 4th, and they lost to Houston. They had a very topsy-turvy first 4 games of the season. And a lot of that had to do with second half performance. They didn't score a point in the Navy game. And as I said, it was a lot of water, a lot of precipitation in that game. So you can excuse that. But at the same time, you have to be a team that plays 4 quarters. Willie Fritz knows that. That's what he wants out of his ball club.
To give you an idea how much wind we have today in New Orleans, they had to hold it. Robinson will take it, a short kick at the 8. He's got a nice lane over to the left side. And scrambles his way going down with good field position for Army at his own 30. So Terrell Robinson gives them their 2nd opportunity offensively. He joined us a little bit late. Army went out 3 and out on their first series. It's only the 2nd start of the season. Christian Anderson just has been nicked up, hasn't he? Has not been able to stay healthy.
Said he got a foot on him. I got stepped on at practice. Just a bizarre little injury. They've had 3 weeks since their last game versus Mercer. Gave him some time to be able to get healthy.
Barnard, no, quarterback keeper. Everybody stayed at home. They kept preaching on our call with him earlier this week. Discipline, assignments, and discipline, and we saw that. Johnson was in on that stop.
Yeah, send a number 91 as well, and very fundamental guy. And when you play an offense like that, it's called assignment football. Everybody has an assignment. Someone has the dive, the fullback up the middle. Someone has the quarterback out on the edge, and somebody has the pitch. And you've got to stay with your assignment. If you divert from it, that's when a big play happens, as Willie Fritz talked about, when someone crosses your face. You got to play with leverage.
Fake the toss, waggle out the other way, and throw it at the feet of Robinson in the neighborhood. He's outside of the pocket, so it'll be 3rd and 10. The heat came from Cam Sample.
Yeah,
Cameron Sample.
Sample's on the other end, opposite of Johnson. These guys are busy when it comes to the passing game. And if you stay with your responsibility in the run game right there for Sample, especially on the quarterback, then nothing can hurt you. And he kept him inside, prevented the little boot play, even though he had his receiver over the top, Alston, but wasn't able to get to it.
Christian Anderson, a junior from the Bronx, fakes one way. Will he get the 10? No. Well short of the first down, but this is a team that regularly goes for it on fourth down. Now, I don't know about this part of the field, though.
Yeah, I loved how they talk about analytics. They use that a lot. Brent Davis, their offensive coordinator, talked about that, and he says that when he gets a fresh set of downs, Coach Monken will tell him 3 or 4. That means you've got 3 downs or you've got 4 downs. And usually that's when they're somewhere near midfield, and obviously when they're in a 4th and 1 to 2, it's a little bit longer than that in this play here, so they're going to have to punt it away and take their chances.
Jaquan Jackson, we're waiting for the punt from Zach Hardy, a junior from St. Louis. And into the wind, the wobbler on one hop. Jackson goes out of bounds, and once again, decent field position for Tulane, but a really good punt into the wind by Harding of 43 yards. Green Wave by 7, and they get it right back with 7:06 left in the first. New Orleans looking from the West Bank over to the city, Crescent City connection. And Michael Pratt with a successful start, the true freshman from Boca Raton at 6'2", 210 pounds. Now, can Army slow them down? It was a short field last time. Tulane gets it at their own 27, up by 7. And it's going to be Amari Jones in the backfield with Cam Carroll. On first down, the bullet, and it's complete, making a miss. It's Juice Watts right at the marker, and they're going to move the chain. So gain of 10. Good fastball.
Going with a little tempo here as well, changing it up from their first series, not giving Army a whole lot to contemplate between downs.
On the play fake, Watts again bumped out. Obviously, they see that cushion on that side of the field against the D-back, Julian McDuffie. And they're just short of the first down.
2 little quick hitch routes, basically 3 steps. Pratt takes the ball, turns and releases. It best kind of throw for a quarterback, no progression at all, just getting it out of his hands. But 2 backs in the backfield again equals run there, Joel. 2nd and 1, smart decision.
And great penetration into the backfield, knifing through the linebacker, John Radigan, the senior from Naperville, Illinois.
But guess what? They scout Tulane just as well as I do, and probably a whole lot better. But Radigan, a guy who hadn't played a whole lot, he's a senior, been a special teamer his entire career, came in this year as a first-time starter, has really worked hard. He's dug in, taken the time to learn the defense, and he's made the most of it, according to his defensive coordinator, Nate Woody.
We're looking at a 3rd and 6. Carroll, the only one in the backfield. And right off the fingertips of a wide open Michael Jones. He's a graduate transfer. He came over from Oklahoma, where he didn't get a lot of reps because they mentioned the inexperience, basically, in this system with their wide receivers, because both Watts brothers came from a junior college as well.
Their entire group, when they came in, didn't have much. And Jacoby Robertson, number 15, he was the only guy with experience and had a thumb problem, one of his ligaments, and was out, and really had no experience in that entire crew starting the year.
Downwind punt. Robinson looking into the sun. Slowed down momentarily, but a good job to get yards after the contact past the 15. So a 47-yard punt. And Army's going to have it for a 3rd time, looking for their first down of the game from their own 19.
Yeah, they've had 2 3-and-outs, and I talked to offensive coordinator Brent Davis about it, and he said they've maybe had 6 or 8 3-and-outs all year. And they've almost got to about 50% of their average. in this football game. Tulane's done a great job of shutting them down. They're going to have an answer, these cadets, and figure out how to move the football and get first downs.
Yeah, the new quarterback carrying it himself, Tyler, a sophomore from Newport News, Virginia.
And Coach Monken said that they don't really have a problem putting any quarterback in the game. They're not afraid to run their entire offense. He said they maybe take a few reads away from them, but that's about it. And as we can see, they're changing them out right now. Tyler being replaced by Anderson in the middle of the series. You don't see that very often, Joel.
One snap and you're out of here. 6 quarterbacks have been under center for Army this year. 3 different starters, and into the secondary goes Jakari Buchanan. Or check that. It's 23. Anthony Atkins are both huge. They're both 6 feet 260. So 23, not 33. Atkins, the sophomore from Hutchinsville, Kentucky. He had a 100-yard day at UT San Antonio, and he gets 18 there.
And that's their bread and butter, is right in the A and B gap, downhill. You look at the stances of all those linemen and that fullback, and they are loaded up on their hands, like almost in a track stance, trying to get downhill north and south. And that's the result of that. Outside,
Anderson breaks containment. Man, he's got a good gain on first down of about 9 out to the 40. Give him 8 to the 49-yard line. Spun out of bounds by the safety, Larry Brooks.
And we see the little bit of an adjustment where there's no longer a read. Even though he's putting it in the gut of that fullback, that pitchback is now coming up and blocking to give him the edge. It's just a straight run by the quarterback around the edge. And now they're in that 2nd and 2 zone where they're pretty much getting the first down according to their offensive coordinator. This is a given. They've got 3 more downs to get 2 yards.
And they get the first down on the keeper by Anderson. It's a good sell job of the big guy, Anthony Atkins. And Anderson gets the first down. They have moved it. Consecutive first downs from their own 19. The big play, though, was by the, and they don't have, they've got speed, but they've got huge running backs at the same time. First down and first time in Tulane territory for Army. Robinson. But not much. Maybe 2 at the most. We'll check in with the studio and the latest with Kevin Connors. Kevin.
And Joel, this studio update is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage. Wake Forest riding a 4-game win streak. They're putting up points all over the place, but North Carolina can score with the best of them too. Sam Howell to Daz Newsome. Covers 75 yards. Longest catch of Newsome's career. North Carolina and Wake Forest tied at 7 over on the ACC network. Joel.
Thank you, Kevin. It'll be a 2nd and long coming up for the Black Knights. It's only the 4th time that Army has won 6 of their first 7 in the last 50 years. Atkins shut down, so now they're off schedule. But where they are territory-wise, it goes back to 4-down territory. They don't mind going for it. They've gone for 4th down more than any other team in the nation.
And Brent Davis knows. He's already talked to Monken. He's given him the 3 or 4. I wish we had it, though. We'd know whether it's going to be 3 downs or 4 downs. But I can imagine if they get it inside of 2 yards, they're going to probably go for it.
Well, you got to figure plus territory, too.
Exactly.
Field position-wise dictates a lot of it.
Cross midfield is huge.
Barnard the single in the backfield. A lead blocker. Nothing there for Anderson. They shut him down. Now this is interesting. They've got a sizable number on 4th down.
Yeah, I don't see how you take that risk here this early in the ball game. Only a 7-point game. But you look at that tackle right there by Tulane. There were 9 defenders. 9 defenders on top of the ball carrier. Yeah, only 2 guys were hanging out on the other side. It looks like they are going to go for it here, Joel.
Not a shock. And they're at, what, 64, 65% on their 4th downs this year. But this is 4th and a legit 5.5, 6. Toss. And it's behind Robinson. He covers it, but it doesn't make any difference. Tulane gets it in plus territory. So Robinson loses the handle on a toss just slightly behind him, and Tulane already up by 7. A very good start for Michael Pratt and Tulane, and now they've got it. Short field again, right at the 50-yard line, leading by 7. Joel Myers, Brian Kinchin, good to have you with us in New Orleans on a beautiful day. And how about that hole for Amari Jones? Will they get him? Amari Jones breaking tackles, and he's in. Touchdown, Tulane. Well, before we broke away, Brian, you wanted Army to punt the football and make it a long field.
Yeah, this is what I was fearing. They went to cover 2. Cunningham, the far safety, and Broughton was widening to the near side. And as soon as he widened, that ball hit right up the middle, and neither one of them could get back and make the play. And he broke both of those tackles and made it to pay dirt.
Not a bad job by the offensive line. Glover splits the uprights. And a promising start for the Green Wave. The Green Wave have had a very difficult schedule this year, and that's when you size this game up as, man, you and I could both make it through that hole.
Yeah, he hit it hard and fast, and you're right, Joel. The level of competition for both of these ball clubs is somewhat different. And Tulane's been beat up and hit in the mouth a few times, but it's obviously hardened them and giving them some resilience. Army on the other side has only had one game where they've had some issues against Cincinnati. But we talked about those games early on where they were up and down. Not real consistent play on the defensive side of the football or offensive.
No, the Navy game, they were up 24-0 at halftime. And it's the second game of the season where Willie wanted to put Pratt in, and he told us earlier this week, made a mistake. Should have gotten Michael Pratt into the game into the second half. But boy, everything has changed. The organization, the discipline that they have now at Tulane with Willie Fritz and his staff. And these two staffs really know each other well because Willie's D coordinator, Jack Curtis, was at Georgia Southern, and he was coaching with Jeff Monken before Jeff left.
Willie Fritz took over at Georgia Southern right after Monken left. Kind of intersected, but they had that same mindset. We talked about it a little bit at the open. They're both those triple option. They have it in their DNA. And Willie is no different than the other side of the football field. As I said earlier, he wants to control the clock and control the football.
But he has changed because now he's got a quarterback and he's got 2 commitments coming in. Really talented quarterbacks next year. They're going to try to challenge Michael Pratt for the job.
And that's what Will Hall told us. His job coming in was to transition this offense to a more pro-style pass. To see or hear when you mention the name Willie Fritz.
They give up the middle, very little.
Well,
maybe 2 at the most for the fullback.
They decided to go to that nose tackle who's going to be disruptive with their center, who's Knapp, number 65, and is not going to go anywhere all night long. He's going to be right in his face, and that just makes it difficult to secure that A and B gap with the fullback. They did a little bit of a diversion in the last series and had some success, but they're going back to that option now.
And the toss a little bit behind, but good grab just the same by the tailback, A.J. Howard, the junior from Toccoa, Georgia. Still, it's going to be off schedule as far as they're concerned, though, deep in their own territory. It's going to be 3rd and about half dozen.
Yeah, Anderson got a mouthful right there from Johnson, who pulled up just a hair right before he got the ball off, but it looks like Tulane's doing a very good job of their assignment football against this Black Knight offense.
So that'll do it for the opening 15 minutes of play in New Orleans. We are uptown on the campus of the Green Wave. Tom Benson Field, Ullman Stadium, had a really strong start for the Green Wave.
Hey guys.
Joel Myers, Brian Kinchin, and a 3rd and 6. Christian Anderson had tripped up at the last second by Larry Brooks. The strong safety saved the first down. They're not going to gamble here, are they?
Well, I was wrong the last time, Joel, so you're asking the wrong guy, but it's 4th and 2, and that's 4 yards closer than the last time. They're back on their own 33. Looks like they're going to do the same thing.
The wind is at their back for punting purposes, but right now they're keeping the offense on the field. They've alternated the fullbacks Buchanan and Atkins with McCoy. And right now it's Sandon McCoy. Check that. It is Buchanan. And will he get it? He's got it. Jacoby Buchanan, a sophomore from St. Louis. He's out of a basketball high school. He played lacrosse. How would you like this? 6 feet even, 260 pounds. He's lost weight since he got to Army. He was bigger playing lacrosse at Chaminade Prep. And that's Bradley Beal. We can go down Jason Tatum, David Lee. Good basketball school. Well, they've got a nice football player for Army, don't they?
They do that, and the guy hard north and south, and that's what his job was. Nice conversion. The difficulty of playing 4 downs against the Black Knights.
Run Robinson with McCoy in the backfield. And pinching in from the side was their all-time leading sack man, Patrick Johnson. They call him the Joker, at least terminology. There's the Apache on one side for Army, the Joker for Tulane.
Yeah, and last game he had a career day. 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, a pass breakup, and 2 quarterback hurries. That's a big night for anyone.
Leads the nation now with 9 sacks. Their all-time sack leader. The senior from Chattanooga. And it presents a 2nd and 10.
They got the quarterback at depth for Army.
Great run. Anderson into the secondary. If he's looking, he's got A.J. Howard streaking right next to him for the toss a little bit downfield, didn't he?
He did. He decided to keep it. A different look for him. We haven't seen that all afternoon. Gaping hole. Great job coming up and shutting it down for Kirshen. The free safety. That's his job. You're the last guy. Make sure you bring him down.
Aren't you glad they didn't listen to us in the booth to punt?
I'm telling you.
From the 46.
What do we know up here?
First down, Army. Keeping it into the backfield. Tyler trying to track him from behind. They'll get him right at the 10-yard line. Tyler, the guy that had a big day, almost a 100-yard day, with 19 for 95 against UT San Antonio, gets 35 on that one.
Yeah, he's the smallest of their backs. He's also the fastest with the most lateral movement. He was their 3rd quarterback we were going to see today, and we haven't even seen Ballard, the freshman, who was going to be the 2nd guy in. They skipped right over him. Made a little bit of a change-up, seems to be working. Tulane hasn't been able to figure out the adjustments yet.
Buchanan to the backfield. Tyler stays in there, and he's tripped up from behind. Tracking him from behind was Nick Anderson, the junior from Vicksburg, Mississippi. Led Tulane in stops last week. 2nd overall in the team in tackles. You can understand.
Yeah, when they get to the 5-yard line, according to defensive coordinator Jack Curtis, he says they're pretty much scoring a touchdown. So they've got to do their best to keep them in those long yardages in 2nd and 10. As we talked about earlier, the percentages are decreased of getting to those first down markers.
Tyler will keep it himself, and he's belted. Belted by a couple. Sample wrapped him up and then pulls him back along with the safety. And also Dorian Williams combining.
Yeah, you've really got to just be physically better to run the football in this type of area of the field in the red zone. The passing game is just not present, and so what they're going to do, just like every other team, they're going to load up everyone in that box, and it makes it that much more difficult to get the hard yards on the ground.
Anderson's got Barnard, the single behind him as he takes over at quarterback. And in the flat, wide open, Robinson, touchdown Army. Black Knights respond with a long drive, don't they?
Very well executed. Caught Robinson on the flat route. There were trips to the near side. They basically just cleaned it out. Left him one-on-one. He's their punt and kickoff returner. Not a guy you're going to be able to corral. And according to Coach Monken, he's a lightning bolt. Fast and quick, and we saw that there.
Point after blocked and loose. Kicked around, but Army covers it. Still, though, special teams come through for Tulane. A But what a drive. 10 plays, 75 yards. Robinson on the receiving end. And the Black Knights on the board in New Orleans. Robinson. Well, we remind you the Vikings have taken 2 straight. 5-3 Bears trying to stay within striking distance of the Packers in the NFC North, and they're going to square off at Soldier Field. So it's going to be a great Monday Night Football matchup. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. And our coverage is going to begin Monday Night Countdown. Don't forget on ESPN at 6 o'clock. Representation, we like it. And one thing, Brian, you know, a couple of things are guaranteed when you face Army. They're tough and they're disciplined. They're going to stay within what they do well. And they ran the ball really well to set it up for the pass play.
Yeah, and they don't throw the ball very often for touchdowns. That was maybe the second one of the year. They had one earlier in their opening drive last week, or last game, which was 3 weeks ago.
Well, their leading receiver has 6 catches.
That's right.
To give you an idea how often they throw it.
And we talked about it with their offensive coordinator, and we kind of got in a little chuckle about it because I was kind of egging him on to throw the football. And
you were filler.
And what he delivered their first score through the air just for me.
Yeah, but you wanted it on first down.
That's right.
Remember?
That's right. I wanted early down.
You were trying to pull a filibuster on all of us.
You're right.
Salyers kicks it away. The line drive. It's going to be Amari Jones, and he'll take it from the goal line. And he slips, trying to change his path. Let's head back to the studio. The latest with Kevin Connors. Kevin.
And Joel, let's take a look at today's matchmaker brought to you by Cars.com. Already a wild one between North Carolina and Wake. How about Sam Howell, 23 yards to De'Ami Brown, who's already gone over 100 yards receiving. Howell, 232 yards passing in the first quarter, 17-14 Tar Heels. Meantime, Michael Penix, Ty Freifogel, Indiana up on Michigan State. Joel, Hoosiers playing their first game as a top 10 team since 1969.
That's a great story, isn't it? What Indiana has done this year. In fact, they've got Kevin Peoples, the defensive line coach, who was here the last 4 years for Tulane, and he has joined the staff there. And good penetration and a loss on first down on the give to Hutterson. So all of a sudden now Army looks like a different group a little bit, at least in the trenches.
Momentum shifted quite a bit. Didn't expect that fourth down conversion. And Smith coming up making the stop for a loss, putting them behind the chains a little bit.
Illegal motion, offense, number 15. The penalty is declined. Second down.
With good reason. So they call it on Jacob Robertson, the wide receiver. He's still out there. And inside of him is the tight end, Christian Daniels. So trips on the wide side of the field for Michael Pratt on a 2nd and 11. Flood that side. And past the 20, out to the 22. It goes to Christian Daniels, a sophomore from Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
Yeah, working that trips formation, the inside route runner. Just a little 5-yard out. Again, with the young freshman, it's an easy decision. The outside 2 receivers clear out the area. He's able to let it go before his break. An easy throw and catch.
Empty backfield. 3 on the wide side. Hutterson leaves the backfield and comes over to the short side.
Tight end out wide to the far side of the boundary. Their backup tight end, Wallace.
Pratt's got him on the sideline and almost pulled in. Almost an incredible grab on the sideline by Jatavian Tolles.
Tolles had lost the quarterback altogether. He was looking right through the defender trying to find him, and Pratt laid it up absolutely perfect right in the breadbasket, but he didn't pick it up soon enough coming down out of the air to be able to make the grab.
They only needed 2 though, and that's not a high percentage throw.
No, it isn't. That's something you'd expect on a 2nd 1.
Punted away by Ryan Wright. Robinson lets it hit on the short one into the wind. And it'll die just inside the Army 41. So when we come back, Army's got their best field position to start a drive so far, down by only 8. prosperity. They've got it at the 41. And Tired is back in there, Tyler, and he breaks tackles at the line, close to another first down before he's put down by the corner, Jalen Monroe. But they just wanted to, they put him at slot back because they had depth at quarterback, as their offensive coordinator told us earlier this week. And Ryan, they want to get him touches. They just want to get him involved in more plays.
It's easy to see why. Of course, that was a little bit of a mishap on the side of Tulane. Had three guys wrapped him up, low center of gravity and some power underneath that small frame to be able to get it out onto the edge and do some damage.
He's 5'8", 185, just a sophomore. It's the fullback, Jacoby Buchanan. And he's got the first down. They only needed a yard. Takes it to the Tulane 48. Now, what about Tulane and the experience they had with Navy? You would think that would assist them in the process of getting ready for this game.
And Coach Fritz talked about it, how they even work on these offenses in the summer. And he did say because of the COVID epidemic that it kind of limited them on what they can do. And he really wasn't even happy with the way they had played this year up until last game against ECU. He felt like they had tackled better. But we have seen some misses tonight. Need to continue to hone in on their skills up front tackling.
McCoy barely tripped up as Christian Anderson is back in there at quarterback. Gain of about 4. Down to the 44.
You can prevent yards after contact is monumental, and Coach Fritz addressed that. When you let someone cross your face and you're not using leverage and keeping them on your inside, that's where big plays happen. And in the Navy game, they only gave up 4 big plays, he said. One was a run play that got bounced, and 3 pass plays, and they end up losing that game by 3 points. So every little play, every little tackle is monumental against an offense like this.
It'll be Barnard short of the first down on the dive play to about the 40. Needs 2 more. Dropped by Kevin Henry, the inside backer. Well, the toughest opponent for Army this year, and they held up well. A very good Cincinnati team, and they lost at Nippert Stadium on the road to Cincinnati 24-10. But that stands out because they competed at a real high level against a quality opponent.
They did, an unbeaten team, top-ranked team, but it's their only real competition of the year.
Need a little more than 2. Man, short of the first down, but they're in 4-down territory anyway. Well, that's Atkins, Anthony Atkins, the sophomore, at 6'1", 260. He's got a 7-yard average, and it's not because of his speed, obviously. Big guy. Well, Coach Monken has done an amazing job when you look at what he's accomplished in 7 years. 10-win season, 11-win season, first time that's ever happened at Army. You got to go back to the late 50s. Red Blake, 1958 season. As good as it gets for Army. Need a yard? They've got more than a yard. Jacoby Buchanan. How would you like to see him with a lacrosse stick?
Yeah, I never played lacrosse, but I can't imagine what that would look like, especially downhill like he's running through the tackles on offense. Yeah, especially firing a lacrosse ball across your nose.
First down. This drive started back at the Army 41. Now can they capitalize with a great field position? Fresh set of downs. It's Buchanan breaking tackles, taking people with him. He's got another first down. What a load. Inside the 20, down to the 19.
And number 33, Kevin Henry, their inside linebacker, kind of shot the gap before the ball was snapped. Left a little bit of an opening there for him to hit it hard. Buchanan straight downhill. Catches 3 defenders and takes them with him for another 5.
Did you see Fanukin, his lineman, his guard, taking him, carrying him a little bit longer?
Right there with him. They're downhill. Look at their hands. They're all loaded up. Their center even is just loaded up.
Anderson under center. He'll keep it. He's got a lane left side. He's in. Touchdown, Army. Good fake. Buried into the belly of Jacoby Buchanan, didn't he?
Reminds me of the movie Remember the Titans when Denzel Washington's character is questioned about the size of his playbook. He says, I've got 6 plays, split veer, it's like Novocaine. Just give it time, and it works all the time. And we are seeing that play out right here, because as boring as it looks early on, and they're able to stop them, now we see that it's a different ball game.
Well, they're disciplined. They don't deviate from what they do well.
Do not.
It's Barnard in the backfield going for 2 after the blocked extra point on the first touchdown. And Anderson trying to throw for it, and he will not get it. Good coverage. They took away his 2 receivers on the right side of the end zone that he wanted. But what a play call, and what a run. Huge lane, Christian Anderson with the score, and Army right back in it. Back in it. A blocked extra point. And then the failed 2-point conversion tries the difference at 14-12. Joel Myers, Brian Kinchin. One of the great experiences I've ever had calling college football was a game at West Point, staying at the Thayer Hotel.
I'm with you on that.
It was amazing.
My second game of my career was there, and it blew me away.
Yeah, the dress parade on Saturday morning. Get goosebumps. Over the head of Amari Jones. And let's see how Tulane responds when we come back. Brand new game. Harvey has 16 snaps, so just 3 so far with the green wave of Tulane in the second 15.
Hey guys, it's Mark back. We gotta go.
Not yet. There he is. Let's go.
Coming up on the Nissan halftime report, we'll check in on a big battle in the ACC. Miami trying to keep its conference championship hopes alive. One of the great stories in college football, Indiana on the road in East Lansing. We'll check in on the Hoosiers. And Coach Jim Mora will join us, talk about some top 10 teams very much in the mix for the college football playoff. All coming up on the Nissan halftime report. Joel?
It's been a tale of 2 totally different quarters. And now let's see if Tulane can turn it around. As Army has got it rolling. Tulane gets it back and breaking tackles. It's across the 30 to the 31. Good gain on first down for Cam Carroll, the sophomore from Flowood, Mississippi. But right now, before that snap, total yards 177 to 125, and 167 of the 177 for Army on the ground. What a shock. Weaving his way, and not much available for Carroll this time. It's going to bring up a huge third down. And this is important for momentum purposes, because you don't want to give Army the ball back and an opportunity to take the lead before the break.
They've gone to a little tempo again. Did it in the second series of the game. Was a little bit effective early, but they need to be more concerned about getting first down.
Right.
Being able to keep their defense off the field. Last 3 possessions, that 150-yard touchdown run, and that's been about it.
Well, you don't want to rush your way to another 3 and out, which they had last time. Now it's a third and a little more than 3. Underneath, it's available and dropped by Watts. How many drops have they had? Well, last week they had 4. Otherwise, Pratt would have been 27 of 31 in the game.
His opening throw in this ball game was a stone cold drop over the middle, and we've had at least 2 other ones right in the hands of his receivers. They're not doing him any good or any help for sure. But Pratt's getting the ball where he needs to. 1 or 2 plays in a tight ball game can make a difference, and for Tulane, it's going the other way right now.
Into the wind, great field position coming up for Army. They can stay away from it, and it takes an Army roll. They're going to get it for the second consecutive time outside of their own 40. Miller Hilton, memorable plays in the first half. It was Tulane early. And nobody accounted for the tight end, Tyreek James, on that opening possession. And then the big run by Amari Jones. 1 snap, 50 yards. Tulane led 14-0.
The last play they've had offensively for Tulane.
But here comes Army. Terrell Robinson from Christian Anderson. And then Anderson does it himself. So a 2-point lead for Tulane, and it's very precarious now as Army's got it at their own 42. Dead ball foul coming up. Army
False start. Offense, number 14. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the wide receiver. They very rarely give us an opportunity to call a wide receiver's number or name.
That's right, and you certainly don't want it to be for a penalty that's going to set your offense back another 5 yards.
Junior from Charlotte. He's their leading pass receiver with 6 catches coming into the game. Michael Roberts.
That's 1 a game if I'm correct on the math there.
Nothing doing. Sandon McCoy, the fullback, the senior from Kannapolis, North Carolina. Shut down. First one was Nick Anderson. And Williams cleaned up as well. And that's big after the 5-yard mark off. So for a team that doesn't want to throw the football, now they're looking at second and really long. Second and about 17.
Well, Sandon's one of their captains, the guy who's the leader out there. He's the most experienced and gives them the most versatility as well for the Black Knights. Talked about him in the open, but hasn't had much of an impact. Haven't seen him much this afternoon.
They expected the pass, deep ball thrown, jump ball, the grab, in and out of the hands. It was there too. The location, and the wide receiver Alston did locate it before the defensive back saw it. So he's working against Willie Langham.
Well, we knew they would be in man coverage. Coach Fritz said you have to do it to shut down the offense, but Langham is running just along with him, not really thinking the ball's ever going to come his way. And sure enough, it showed up, and he was right there, right on top of it, just swipes it out of his hands. A great job of playing cornerback right there. Didn't do much to get himself open out on the edge, but it was a well-thrown ball, just needed to be a little bit more towards the boundary.
On third down, out of the gun, underneath it goes. And well short of the first down. The completion to Brandon Walters. He's a junior from Bolingbrook, Illinois. And they're going to go for it. They're showing, or will they?
I can't imagine they're going to do that now in a 2-point game.
And you get Tulane, do they want to use a timeout? Yes.
Got all 3 in the tank.
So Tulane stops the clock with 1:48 to play in the half. And that was big because the momentum had seriously shifted. It was all Army so far here in the second 15 minutes of play.
Yeah, the defense needed to step up, and they did. Did a good job of putting them in long yardage situations and making them do what they are not comfortable doing, which is throwing the football.
And don't forget, a little bit later today, second-ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame taking on Boston College. That is today at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern tonight. Number 13, Wisconsin, going up against Michigan in Ann Arbor. And both games on ABC as well as the ESPN app. So Tulane trying to get up to the 500 mark. Army, I mentioned it, they're already 6-1. That's only happened 3 other times in the last 50 years. So that's the kind of job this staff has done with Jeff Monken. A losing record last year, but the previous 2 years, 11 wins and 10 wins. And now the punt with Johnson waiting back deep. Great hang time. And Tulane, how much will they gamble back at their own 15, up by 2, with a true freshman, a first-year freshman quarterback, Michael Pratt. Good job, though, by Army Zach Harding on the punt. This is going to be interesting. Tulane's got 1 timeout left, 1:40. Of course, it stops on every first down in college. And you're up by 2, deep in your own territory. He's got Hutterson in the backfield. You think they gamble very much?
I think they'll put it in the air, give him a chance. Can always punt it away if they don't have any success.
Shallow cross instead, and a little bit of a low throw for Michael Jones.
Yeah, that wasn't a drop that time. The ball just didn't get there. Had him wide open on a deep in route. Going up against McDuffie out at the cornerback position.
And it's a stiff breeze he's throwing in. That was a pretty good fastball, but it was low. But they're working into the wind. Maybe you're looking for a deep ball. Breezy 80-degree day uptown in New Orleans. Nothing doing for Hutterson. That was shut down completely by John Radigan. So now Army calling a timeout, because let's face it, Tulane, if they have to punt on third down, they're punting into a really stiff breeze. And we've seen how short these punts have been the last couple for Tulane. Is this going to be their third consecutive 3-and-out?
Yeah, after that 50-yard touchdown run, that one-play series, we've seen a 3-and-out twice and don't need to see it again.
Army defense giving up only 11 points a game.
Yeah, they're across the board. Top 20 in every category. Obviously, we talked about the level of competition they've had this year, but they've done a really good job versus the rush, the pass, scoring, you name it. They're up there.
Yeah, 4 times this year, Army's held the opposition to fewer than 10 points. First time they've done that since the 1968 season. So Nate Woody. And we joined the defensive coordinator earlier this week. He's got him playing at a good level.
I'm not for pressing the ball down the field much on 3rd and 10, but in this situation,
Army called another timeout.
Another timeout.
There's no foul on the play. Timeout was called before the snap. Second timeout for Army. 30-second timeout.
Well, he saw something in that formation. They didn't match up well personnel-wise.
Well, and I don't see the big risk here for Tulane. Obviously, the bad ball is not what you want. You don't want a turnover, but I don't think it hurts them if they have an incompletion here and they're able to punt it away. Because Army's offense is not built for a 2-minute type drive when they have that ground attack. So there's not a huge threat that Army's going to be able to make anything out of it, even if they get the ball back with about a minute 20, a minute 15 left. So I say you put it in the hands of your freshman. See if he can move the football down the field, maybe a quick screen, a bubble screen, which they don't do a lot of, but it'll give them a nice safe throw, run the clock, give them a chance in the open field, especially to Deuce Watts, who's their leading receiver. And Coach Fritz says he's our guy. Man, you want the ball in his hands and make something happen out on the edge.
Yeah, too many drops early in this game.
Yeah, it's been kind of the story for Tulane. Everything else they've done really well defensively. They've gave up a couple of scoring drives, which have been huge.
You see Deuce by himself on the far side of the field. In the flat, can the tight end get there? No. That stops the clock as well. And Army's about to get the football back.
Yeah, 2 real mistakes there by the big tight end, James. You need to stay in bounds for sure, and you need to know where that first down marker is. Should have fought for that one.
That is the 3rd consecutive series Army has held Tulane to 3 snaps and a punt. And now punting into the wind with Robinson moving up, waiting for the punt from Ryan Wright, and he booms out a beauty. It'll hit and take a Tulane hop. Robinson picks it up. Not going anywhere, is he? He's down at the 16. 62 yards into the wind.
Really turned that one over. Beautiful.
So with only 1 timeout, and there's no gamble for Army, you know what they're going to do. And they've got a couple of guys, we've already seen them break them. So here comes Army, and which quarterback is it going to be? Because Tyler's already shown his escapability.
Yeah, his speed alone is kind of worth having onto the field, but I can understand all of these quarterbacks have such different attributes they can bring to this offense.
Bringing Anderson back out, but he's got the most experience. That's why he started 1 game, got hurt. They wanted to bring him back to start. He's a junior. Well, the rest are either freshmen or sophomores. And McCoy breaking tackles across the 20. Give him about the 21-yard line. And unfortunately, alignment is down now for Tulane. Looks like Jeffrey Johnson, the junior, nose tackle from Brookhaven, Mississippi. Tulane has had, not this past summer, but over the last couple of summers, Coach Ogeron of LSU and Coach Fritz have a really good working relationship. And they have a camp together. So they bring in from this region a number of high school players that participate in this camp. And to say the least, it aids in recruiting, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a good way to bring kids to you where you don't have to go and see them.
Yeah, it's been productive for both LSU and Tulane. And Tulane coming off back-to-back bowl wins for the first time in the program's history. Well, they've had 2 bowl wins in a row, but not in consecutive seasons. Good to see Big Jeffrey Johnson back up.
Yeah, he's their big nose tackle, 330-pounder, who his job is to sit over the center, the face of Bishop, number 57, and disrupt him. And now hope he's okay and able to come back later.
Inside of a minute left in a really entertaining first half. On the counter action, Robinson's got a first down. That'll stop the clock. We've not seen misdirection much, have we?
No, and they really can't do that much. The only thing they can really do is they motion one way and then they come back the other. That's about as misdirect as they get on that offense.
Getting up to the line in a hurry with the clock running. They still have a timeout left. And they're throwing on first down. Well over the head of Robinson. 41 seconds left in a half, where the second quarter has totally been dominated by Army. First quarter, the exact opposite. It was all Tulane. So adjustments required at halftime.
Yeah, 3 possessions by Tulane, 2 touchdowns, and then 3 possessions in the second, and 3 punts and 3 3-and-outs.
From the 32, it's a 2nd and 10. Toss sweep. McCoy. Out of bounds he goes. Right about the 35. Marvin Moody forces him the outside backer. It'll be interesting to see what type of play they run, though. Because Tulane would like to force a punt. Would like to see if they can get a return. They've got 1 timeout on the board. So Tulane 14 points in the first quarter. Army 12 points here in the second 15 minutes of play.
And they've got Anderson at depth again. Last time we saw that, he threw the football. High tendency.
Fakes the toss one way. And stays in bounds. But he went out, I think, just short of the first down. He did. At the 41. Needed to go to the 42.
He saw the first down stick on the near side, which is not the accurate stick. And he was looking at it at an angle. And he needed about another half of a yard to get that first down. But it's a rare moment. We'll see Army punt on 4th and 1, not wanting to give up that really short field to that Tulane offense.
Well, this is kind of surprising. Tulane's not putting anybody back. So Harding, the junior from St. Louis, to punt. Delay.
Timeout.
Timeout. Avoiding a delay.
Timeout, Army. Their 3rd and final timeout.
Well, that's interesting. Tulane would not have somebody back for a return because they have some explosive threats. And then all of a sudden you're in field position, get a snap or 2, and get in field goal range. And I know you're hitting it into the wind.
Well, Amari Jones, who's the man who scored on the 50-yard touchdown run earlier, who's also their primary kickoff and punt returner, as you said, is a very elusive player. And it seems like they'd want him back there to give it a shot. He's their super back, their SD super back. We have many of those in the country.
And it's Amari, it's not Mario, like Super Mario. down. The punt coming from Sawyers. And they still don't have anybody back. Downwind. And a good one. So it'll die inside right out by the 5-yard line. Tulane will take a snap and head to the locker room after the 53-yard punt, content because they have truly lost any kind of rhythm. They're not in sync on the offensive side of the football. And Willie Fritz knows his team. He wants to get to the locker room and make adjustments.
Yeah, they're going to need to come out with a different game plan offensively for sure. Defense has played okay. The Army's going to get points. They're going to get yards. You're not going to stop them completely. You're going to have to slow them down, which the defense was able to do. But this offense needs to be more productive and put more points on the scoreboard.
And that'll do it for the first half. So a tale of two different quarters. Willie Fritz and Tulane dominated early. Then Army had their way. They beat them up in the trenches and right back in. And when we come back, we'll check in with Kevin Connors, Jim Mora Jr. That's up next on ESPN. Coming up tonight as we look at our Goodyear Top 10 college football rankings. And Brian, the game a little bit later on ABC today, 3:30 Eastern. Notre Dame and Boston College. Now you get a double overtime win over Clemson. Can't afford a letdown, can you?
No, you can't, and that's the beauty of coaching young kids. You never know what is going to happen, and you hope they're going to come out, show up, do what they're supposed to do, but you just never know. That always present lull that could happen. We hope it doesn't.
Yeah, Miami down early to Virginia Tech. Number 9 Miami down to Virginia Tech in Blacksburg by a point. You saw that as well. So here we go. Start the second half, and can they turn it around? Because Jeff Monken's Black Knights of Army totally dominated the second quarter. Line drive will be a touchback, and that's the way it'll begin in the second half. So what adjustments does Tulane make? And did they rush themselves? We talked about they tried to get pace, and all of a sudden they were going up tempo. It's a quarterback making his 5th career start. It's different with a young quarterback, isn't it?
Yeah, I just expected them to be able to run the football a lot better than they've done, and they, passing-wise, have not done a whole lot through the air as well.
Well, the drops.
200-yard passing for Pratt 3 times this season.
Yeah, he's out of 7 for 12. You saw the numbers. There's got to be at least 3 drops. On the low snap, he's throwing on first down. And he's got Jones. Amari Jones with a good game and a high percentage throw for about 6. So let's see if they find some rhythm offensively, because they lost it completely in the second 15 minutes of play. They're going up tempo again.
2 backs in the backfield usually means running the football.
And a little cutback action. And breaking through an arm tackle, Jones gets the first down across the 40 out to the 41. So a gain of 10 after the stop by Cedric Cunningham, the free safety, and unfortunately, Army's got a man down.
Yeah, McDuffie, their cornerback, looks like he hurt his hand he was holding. Tried to come up and make a play.
He's backed up on that side by Javari Bordeaux.
Yeah, it looks like he caught his knee or his thigh or his hand on the running back, Jones, at a high rate of speed.
Yeah, he flew through low on the screen, you could see. And almost the way he's going towards his shoulder.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Tough part of the game. We're not 30 seconds into the second half. Young man from Snellville, Georgia, Julian McDuffie. So they look at the junior cornerback. We'll take a timeout as well from New Orleans. and Julian McDuffie, and it looked like a left shoulder injury. Is Javari Bordeaux, a senior from Miramar, Florida, takes over at that spot at the cornerback position. This is a guy that's also been hurt most of the year and has not had many reps. We asked about Bordeaux in particular in our conversation with the staff. He's matched up and he's in press coverage on Deuce Watts on the bottom of your screen. Now on first down, good run by Pratt. And he gets about 7 out of it. So put him down just short of the 50 at the 48-yard line. So Michael Pratt, 3 consecutive weeks, he's had 200+ yards in passing.
Good coverage by the Cadets on the other side. We were manned up out wide. Gave Pratt nowhere to go, but that's what's so effective about him is he can run when he needs to, but it's not his primary mode of operation.
First drive of the second half. Weaving his way as Hutterson short of the first down by a yard. He is dropped right at the midfield stripe. Underneath was Cockrell, a nose guard, Nolan Cockrell. They've already got a first down on this drive,
which they haven't done in the previous 3 possessions of the first half. So they're better than they were, but they need to continue because they got to keep their defense off the field. The defense was on the field way too much in that first half, especially that second quarter we talked about that Army dominated. Didn't get much of a break for their defense.
It'll be Cameron Carroll, and he lunges for an extra yard to get it. Inside the 49, down to the 48 for the sophomore from Flowood, Mississippi. And time of possession belonged to Army, which is not a shock. They were 2-1. But they do that to a lot of opponents, don't they? And the ultimate for Army is about 10 or 11 possessions a game for them. So that they play keep away. The opposition can't get it either.
They average about 65 a game, and that's about it.
Snaps.
That's right. That's exactly right. And their time of possession is always more than 30 minutes. Most of the time when they win, it's about 35.
Pratt's got time and a long throw. Good grab. Coming up with it is Michael Jones. That shows arm strength, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's about a 40-yard throw for an 8-yard gain. But you got to really appreciate the beauty of it. Put it right where his guy can only get it. Nice placement with the football.
Yeah, brings it to the near side. He was closer to the far side hash. They need 3. Little flanker kick out, and they'll get about 4 or 5. As it's complete over to the far side. And it's Jaquan Jackson.
And just to defend the receivers, that ball right there, you probably couldn't see it on TV, was very wobbly. That was a finger breaker, they call them. And yet he hauled it in very nicely to convert and to be able to move the sticks.
So the heavy ball as opposed to the easy one to catch.
Exactly.
First down from the 37 of Army. Pratt taking his time, and he's got time. And he's also got Deuce Watts on a crossing pattern as he takes a shot inside the 12 down to about the 11.
We were talking about Watts at halftime. He's had 2 touchdowns in the last 2 football games, and we haven't seen much of him. Beautiful in route, and Pratt had all day to deliver that one. That's almost a hard ball because he's so wide open, and you've got so much time, and he's running across you, but he delivers perfectly.
They can still get a first down inside the 2-yard line. And maybe a hold where it was thrown from the referee. The carry of that time by Carroll.
Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Right guard Tim Shafter.
Yeah, anytime your defender moves past you and falls down in front of the referee, there's not a whole lot of hope for you not getting that call. And he knew it. He came up shaking his head. And sometimes you don't have a choice. I was a tight end my entire career, so I understand that half the time I was having to do the same thing. And you grab it when you know you shouldn't, and you hope they don't see it, but most of the time they do.
Carroll stays in the backfield. Trips on the wide side of the field where Pratt is looking right now. Corner of the end zone. He's got a man. Making a miss. Touchdown Tulane. Jaquan Jackson. 21-yard score, and once again, he's just an 18, 19-year-old freshman. He shows some arm strength.
Beautiful little corner route, wide open to Jackson, who barely played much last year, but last game had a career high 57 yards and 2 touchdowns, 180 all-purpose. A threat that they've been unable to utilize, but a beautiful throw by the young quarterback to convert and get the 6 out of it.
Glover, big extra point to make it a 2-score game. So that was impressive. And it was done mostly, almost exclusively through the air. It ends on a 21-yard strike and a fastball once again. The freshman quarterback, Michael Pratt. And what a day. 81 degrees, almost no humidity. October and November, the best months of the year by far in this area. And now Tulane goes back up by 9. They led early by 14. That drive, the first drive of the first quarter and the first drive of the third quarter, they were almost duplicates for Tulane. That was a 9-play, 75-yard drive. It was a shorter field the first time, but it took just as long. But this one was through the air. So Michael Pratt carried him for most of those 75 yards. Now downwind, it'll be over the head of Robinson. And Army's first drive will start at their own 25. And let's see if they control the trenches the way they did when they went to the locker room at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, they struggled early on in the game. First quarter, couple of punts, turnover on downs before they got in some rhythm and scored in their first 2 possessions of the second quarter.
And they failed on a 4th down. Don't forget that at the Tulane 46. They were driving on that one too before they got the 2 scores.
That's right.
Christian Anderson back in there, the young man for the Bronx, in at quarterback. And breaking out of an ankle tackle, you can understand why it's Anthony Atkins, because he goes 6'1", 260. You need a rope.
Yeah, that's like brushing a fly off of you for him.
Back in is McCoy, and they don't get any, well, they're a little bit lighter. He's 5'11", 235. But then they just beat you up. It's almost like a fighter going to the bottom.
Yeah, they're constantly just hitting you in the mouth. Like I said, these guys are downhill. Even the linemen straight downhill.
A little counter action. We don't see it very often. You mentioned that in the first half. And they shut down Robinson. Right across the 30 at the 31. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 4.
And he's right at that distance. We talked about the analytics that Brent Davis shared with us. That's a 90% conversion rate for them to get a first down at 3rd and 4.
Bring in Cade Barnard, setting up behind Anderson. 240-pound fullback. Play fake and a waggle the other way. Now the deep ball, and it'll be intercepted. Picked off by Tulane's Larry Brooks, the safety. Junior from Fort Worth creates the first turnover of the game.
He had his running back, Walters, number 11, and Alston, his wide receiver, 86, right together. And I think his process was just put it up somewhere near them, and maybe they'll come down with it. Obviously not a wise decision. And when you don't throw the ball very often, and you're in circumstances like that, you sometimes make poor decisions. And I would say probably most of the time, he should have eaten that ball, pulled it down, got what he could get, and they'd live to play another day. Well,
as you mentioned, with 2 receivers in the same area, it seemed like there were a half dozen D-backs. Pratt pulled down from behind. The initial penetration, though, was in the backfield, and that was Malcolm Morrison who really busted up the play of the Apache.
Yeah, and Cockrell, number 95, finished it off. Good job of pass rush by the Black Knights. don't get that opportunity much early in the season.
Loss of a yard. On 2nd and 11, it's at the 45. Great pocket protection. And the grab for a first down to Deuce Watts. Yeah, that pocket. He was back there surveying for a while, wasn't he? 16 yards on the completion.
You get more than a couple of seconds with a guy like Pratt who scans the entire field, comes back to Watts, his reliable guy on the comeback route. Matched up against Jabari Moore, number 4, their best corner. And still wins the battle, converts. Good throw, good catch.
Great job by the offensive line. Pratt, offensive line holds up, but there's a reason behind it this time. There's a hold coming up, and he throws it away. Well, if you're going to get it, you want it on first down. You don't want it on second or third down.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to call this on number 70, Shafter.
Holding, offense, number 70, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And basically, Smith, number 53, the Mike linebacker, went right over him, and he pulled him down to the ground, which is kind of odd. He really got run over rather than held him, but I guess because he didn't let him go, they called him for holding.
So it's going to be 1st and 20 when we come back. Time out of the field to attend to a down Black Knight.
Are you ready for Monday night?
Line, we've seen that early in the second half for Michael Pratt of Tulane. They have not been able to get the quarterback on a regular basis. Give the offensive line credit. It's Claybrook, Dublin, Ainsworth, Shafter, Knutson.
Yeah, this crew's only been together for the last couple of weeks. They've had a lot of injuries. Houston, they lost 3 guys.
Out of the flat. Good run out after the catch by Fat Watts. And good play fake action. Sending the misdirection. Everybody going to the far side with Pratt coming back. Youngster, his footwork, you judge it for us, but that's a nice throw on the run, isn't it?
Yeah, nice little added bonus to be able to not just sit in the pocket and deliver the football, but be able to stay on the move as well.
And that's getting back more than the 10 of the penalty. They got about 14 on that catch. To Tyreek James into the slot on the short side of the field. He's got a touchdown grab already today. Straight 4-man rush. And underneath, it's available. It's Jacob Robertson. And a big gain inside the 15. This looks like Tulane in the first quarter.
Well, Army's just seems like they're not really doing a good job in their zone coverage. Jabari Moore just passes him off to the inside where the Mike linebacker is supposed to be sitting at the hook curl zone, and there's no one there.
Well, let's see if they can get some pressure on the quarterback. Will he run it? Amari Jones stays in the backfield. And on first down, no. He'll throw it and almost deflected. It was Bordeaux deflected it, but it was almost to the receiver as it went to Deuce Watts.
He got both hands on that football.
There's a flag down.
That was a close one there.
Watch where it goes.
There's no flag when the eligible receiver downfield. Second down.
No flag. They pick it back up. It'll be second down for Tulane.
That was just a basic slant route, and Bordeaux just jumped it.
He has taken over due to the injury to Julian McDuffie, but as we've mentioned, Bordeaux's been the guy that's been hurt. They have not been able to get him reps. This drive started for Tulane at their own 46. Now they empty it. Jones in motion. Great pocket protection again. Underneath the grab is made. And it goes to his first grab of the game. Christian Daniels. Backup tight end.
Yeah, just a little spot route right over where the football was. Sat it down, got his yardage. 3rd and 5 normally is not that big of a deal. and we have more field to work with. But when you get down in the red zone and those windows get tight, it makes it more difficult to be able to throw that football in those tight windows.
Here comes the pressure on Pratt. And a low throw to an available receiver because he had Jacob Robertson right at the goal line.
It's the first time we've seen them put pressure on Pratt and making him move. He had his crossing route wide open early.
Yeah, you could read lips. He goes, "That's on me."
And he bailed out of the pocket. He went backwards. It's something I've noticed in the last couple of games. As a freshman, you have a tendency to do, instead of staying in the pocket and moving up and keeping your eyes downfield, he pulls them off his receiver and bails out over the top.
26-yard field goal is good by the senior from Jericho, New York, Merrick Lovers. We head back to the studio and get the latest. What's going on, Kevin?
And Joel, let's take a look at today's perfect match studio update brought to you by Cars.com. Penn State trailed Nebraska 27-6 at the half, but some life here in the third. Kavon Lee, the touchdown run. Nittany Lions trying to avoid just their second 0-4 start in school history, down 27-13.
Thanks, guys. 5:38 left in the third. And after the 26-yard field goal, it's Tulane now 2 for 2. 2 scores on their 2 possessions here in the second half. A 21-yard touchdown pass to Jaquan Jackson on their first drive, a real efficient 75-yard drive. One thing Tulane has not been able to do is get any balance out of the first 2 possessions, so everything has been through the air.
And that usually will open up the run game quite a bit because one offsets the other. Because they're a very balanced team. We talked about it early on. 62% of the time they run the football, the other 38% they're passing. Now granted, since Pratt has taken over, which was in game 3, they've probably been a little bit more pass heavy in those first couple of ball games. But
we did a bunch of games when Willie first got here.
Oh yeah.
And they were playing the run of the pistol.
They were doing the triple option from depth, and it was a very unusual offense, but that's what he knows. That's what Willie Fritz knows.
Back deep is Terrell Robinson, a freshman from Dallas, Georgia, that is. Over to the far side. And the ball's headed in his direction once again, but it's downwind, which it should be in life for all of us. 24-12 with 5:38 to play. So Glover got into it, and now for the second consecutive time to start the second half, Army's got it to the 25. The first series they were moving until they were off schedule on 3rd and 6, and it was a pick by Tulane's Larry Brooks.
Yeah, poor decision.
And a new quarterback
by Anderson. And
Tyler.
That might be why we're seeing another signal caller in the game.
Well, we saw him a couple of times in the first half.
Yeah, and he's a very dynamic runner.
Little guy. They list him at 5'8", so you know he's probably 5'6", 5'7". Running it short side of the field, and he is engulfed. Buried by Moody. Marvin Moody, senior from Bryant, Arkansas. So it's a loss of a couple.
Yeah, that was about 225 versus 180.
Soaking wet.
Soaking wet.
No, that's bad news for Tulane. One of the Watts, Deuce Watts. They're dynamic, those two guys, Deuce and Fat Watts.
That's right. It came from the Jones County Junior College last year.
Anderson keeps it himself, makes the most of it too. He's short of the first down, but not by much. They put him out, it looked like a couple of yards shy. Forced out by Jalen Monroe, senior corner on that side. So a gain of 10 after the loss of 2. It's 3rd and a couple.
Yeah, the ebb and flow of this game seems to be when one offense is doing well, the other one isn't.
Yeah, and I brought up to the staff, they've had good weather. They've been in the 70s until the last couple of days up at West Point. Because when they got here yesterday, it was warm, and it's still 80, 81 today. He said, but it has been really unseasonably comfortable up there. First down, and look out. Man, oh man, if Jacoby Buchanan doesn't lose his balance. I would have loved. That's a big man running down the seam.
Well, you had 33 on 33, Kevin Henry, the linebacker in the middle. And if he doesn't deliver that blow as hard as he does, that's going to turn ugly really quick. He had nothing but green grass in front of him.
What'd you call me? On first down from the 43, another big run. Try to bring Buchanan down. Let's head back to the studio. Check in once again with Kevin Connors. Kevin?
Hey, Joel, Sam Hartman has accounted for 4 touchdowns already, 1 on the ground, 3 through the air. This one to Donovan Green, who has 170 yards receiving and 2 TDs. Wake in a shootout, 45-28.
Anderson on first down, and all of a sudden there's a little pep. There's a little action going for Army, especially downstairs with the offensive lineman. A gain of 7 because he had opportunities to pick spots, didn't he?
They're going with some tempo themselves here in the third quarter.
We also saw, we thought we'd see, now they get a blow, and it's going to be short the first down. We thought we'd see some unbalanced lines, didn't we, from Army? Yeah,
they've done that the last couple of weeks where they'll move a tackle over and put a tight end in place to give them a little bit of a heavier set to one side or the other. We haven't seen that this game, but they've got Tulane on their heels defensively with this tempo.
And got another first down. Try to slow him down. Boy, that is a tank. An Army tank. Jacoby Buchanan. We saw Atkins in there as well, and they're about the same size, about 255, 260 each.
Well, that's the position that just does all of the hard work inside the tackles, and when you're having issues moving the football, that's as bread and butter as it can get, and when that starts opening up, Tulane's got to figure out a way to shut that down.
Give it to the motion man, Terrell Robinson, once again. They've had some success on some misdirection. Not that time in particular. We've not seen the jet either.
Well, you get those lighter backs that are countering into the meat of that defense, like Robinson, number 21. He's only 180 pounds. So if he gets hit, he's going to go down. But you're better off when you have your big boys, as we talked about, Buchanan pounding away. And we see him at depth again for the 3rd time tonight.
On 2nd and 7, snap to Tyler, breaking tackles and barely tripped up. That was a huge stop. And that was DeAndre Williams. Otherwise, he's going for a while. Williams, a senior from Baton Rouge, made the play.
Well, got him wrapped up and misdirected him himself. Patrick Johnson did right off of the edge, which was almost to their detriment, because if he'd have stayed on his feet, like you said, there's no telling what that would have turned into.
Tyler's going to stay in there at quarterback on 3rd and short. But they're 4-down territory anyway. Barnard right behind him.
There's that unbalanced line we just got through talking about to the left side.
We got it.
They moved their right tackle, J.B. Hunter, over there and loaded it up and got what they needed.
You know, this is turning into one of those odd even games. Tulane, first quarter, 3rd quarter, and now as we get ready to go into the 4th quarter, Army's starting to pick up the pace.
It's like both offenses can't thrive together. It's either one or the other.
So it's a first down, and this started way back at the Army 25-yard line. They've had it for a while. This is a typical Army drive. Chew up the clock, game of keep away. And a lot of fresh bodies in and out of the game, but some confusion at the same time up front.
That's that unbalanced line where they move the tackle over, and
now does that cost them, though?
68 McClary didn't know where he was supposed to be, and he was running around trying to figure it out, and I don't think anybody else knew where he was supposed to be either.
That's tough to hide when you're that big.
Yeah, you're not fooling anybody.
But does it burn them in the 4th quarter and down the stretch of what looks like it is going to be a really close game? Let's head back to the studio and join Kevin Connors and Jim Moore Jr.
All right, Joel, thanks so much. This studio update brought to you by AT&T 5G. Marshall 6-0, all-wear wins by double digits. How about Grant Wells to Corey Gamage for the touchdown pass? 28-7, a thundering Herd lead in the 3rd.
28 seconds remaining in the third in New Orleans on a beautiful afternoon. 80 degrees, very little humidity. And here we are, middle of November. Tyre Taylor, he's jump-started this offense here in the third quarter, the sophomore from Newport News, Virginia.
Well, I think he figured out where he was supposed to be on that right side, where they're unbalanced. Their tight end is set to the left.
On first down, they get penetration, cut him off, turn him in, and it was Patrick Johnson cleaning up.
Man, I could hear that one up here when Moody followed it up, number 28. He laid the leather on him.
So it's going to be a loss of 3, and that'll do it for a third quarter. Pretty well controlled by Tulane through the air, not on the ground, and now the ground game is working once again for Army. So a 12-point advantage for the Green Wave, trying to get up to the 500 mark for Willie Fritz and also pick up a third consecutive victory. It's Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. It all starts with the coverage. Monday Night Countdown at 6 on 2nd and 13. Good run. Sand and McCoy showing some wheels at 5'11", 230. We haven't seen many runs to the outside unless it's the 2 or 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's just a straight toss, and he's got McClary, number 68, out in front of him, as well as Robinson, the running back. Very productive, puts him in a manageable distance, especially with that added down that they'll have in fourth down if they need it.
They're looking right now, third and a long 4. Christian Anderson back in there at quarterback.
An unbalanced line to the left side again.
Working that side. Anderson will keep it, and he's got the first down. Right at the marker. I think he's got enough. Down to the 11. And he should. Yep. They'll move the chains.
Well, Macon Clark, their nickel back, came up flexing his muscles on that hit. Those nickel backs, a little bit on the smaller side, 185, but he brought it on that tackle there.
Well, it's back to odd and even. This is the 14th play of the drive for Army. Started back at their 25. It's Buchanan. They finally slow him down right at the line of scrimmage.
That's a physical
Sample,
game.
yeah, and Johnson combining. It takes 2 or 3.
Yeah, we were hearing those hits up in the booth.
And then you get up real slowly because you feel the pain.
Because, I mean, my time at LSU, we played a lot of games and a lot of teams, and you always remember the ones that hit hard. And I remember Kentucky, they used to just bring it. They were never very good,
right?
But man, they used to bring it.
They were a physical group.
Physical group, and you just.
Well, you're not surprised. that Army is going to be tough.
I expect that from the service academy.
You said it.
Those guys live for contact.
And a resilient group at that. They were down, if you joined us late, 14-0. Made it 14-12 before we went to halftime. Man, we're anticipating that it's going to go down to the wire with the way Army hangs in there. Their toughest game of the year, they hung in there against an undefeated opponent, Cincinnati, earlier this season, and that was only the 3rd game of the year when they lost to the Bearcats by 14, 24-10.
There's no quitting them for sure. I asked Coach Monken about their bowl success. They won 4 bowl games, and he said that that's pretty much their senior night, the last game they play, even though they celebrated at home. He said, senior night to me is their last game. And he said because his guys like to finish, they want to fight to the end. And so very similar in a game situation, they're never going away. You don't care what the scoreboard says.
Yeah, their success has been amazing since the 2016 season under Jeff Monken. They have gone 39-19. And if you saw this program, because you and I have done games there 20 years ago,
without a doubt,
you would have never believed they'd have a run like this.
And just our conversation with him and his coordinators, it was just a really pleasant experience. These guys just got off a plane.
Right.
We're in New Orleans, and they were just as nice as they could be and as cordial as they could be in our conversation.
I had to shut you off
yesterday. That's exactly right.
The filibuster in you.
I couldn't stop.
Fake it to McCoy. Anderson's not going anywhere. They stayed at home. It goes back to assignment discipline because he faked McCoy wide and then wanted to bring it back. Cameron Sample stayed home, didn't he?
His job is to keep everything inside of him at his position. That's exactly what he does. He stays on the high side of those blockers, and he closes when he sees the ball carrier. That's textbook. Great job by him. Him and Patrick Johnson, they got those in positions. It doesn't matter if it's throwing the football or in run contain. They've done a very good job tonight and do a very good job throughout the season of getting to the quarterback.
Run Robinson in motion. Anderson's got heat coming and overshoots an available Brandon Walters. Well, the pressure certainly paid off because they had the quarterback backpedaling.
He didn't have time to set his feet, even though his crosser was coming into the open. But again, we just got through talking about Patrick Johnson, who runs right through the block off the right side, and he's right in the grill of quarterback Anderson, who didn't have time to set his feet and make that throw.
And down by 12, 3 is not going to be of concern to them right now. So 4th down and about 8 from the 10. And will it be an option pass back the other way? And it's batted down, popped around and picked up by Walters, but he's going nowhere, and Tulane holds. So is Tyson Riley, who tried to throw the football back, and he wanted to go back in the direction of the quarterback.
He had Anderson on the other side, but that's a play that's more designed for an open field where there's more room to work, and they just didn't have enough field to be able to execute it.
So Tulane comes up big defensively, gets the stop, and gets it back up by 12. American Conference on ESPN. Joel Myers, Brian Kitchen on a perfect day in New Orleans. We're uptown. Tom Benson Field at Yeoman Stadium. And Tulane's got it back 1st and 10 at their own 13. Now can Tulane run the football because they have not had a running game for the last 2 quarters.
When that back moves, they run the football.
And down he goes. That's Cameron Carroll. Good job. Underneath. That was Cockrell who tripped him up. By the way, Army's got to be frustrated, though. You hold the ball for better than 8 minutes, 17 snaps, 61 yards, and you come away with nothing.
That's frustrating. Good news is their defense is pretty fresh. They've been sitting around watching for basically a quarter. We had 4 possessions, and we're in the second half, and we're already somewhat into the 4th quarter.
So what you're saying is your cup is always 90% full.
That's exactly right.
Pratt on 2nd and long after a loss of 4. And it gets the yardage they lost back at about 6 more. And it's going to bring up 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, going to Deuce Watts. So he was only 5 of 13 in the first half. Actually 5 of 12 in the first half, and now 16 of 23. So on his way, and 17 of 24 after that one, 183. On his way to his 4th consecutive games of throwing for better than 200 yards. But can he get 5 here? On the slant, they got the first down. It's a pop on Jaquan Jackson, but he holds on. And he had a lot of space, didn't he? A lot of room off the line.
We've seen that a few times where Pratt's got either an in route or a crossing route over the middle of the field that's been wide open, and I don't know if that is a result of those inside linebackers just not getting to their hook to curl zone in that zone defense. There's not a lot of man coverage with the Black Knights that seem to be having some missing gaps in their zone defense in that back half.
With Pratt now 11 of 13 in the second half. Carroll shut down to the backfield. 11 of 13 for 139 as we check back in with Kevin Connors for the latest in the studio. Kevin.
All right, Joel, time for your Capital One fan vote update. We take you to Blacksburg. Miami still very much alive in the ACC and by extension college football playoff mix. Cameron Harris, 6-yard touchdown, 24-19. Hokies lead over on ESPN. Joel?
Thanks, Kevin. It'll be 2nd and long. All Tulane wants, though, is to keep the clock moving. Pratt in trouble and escapes. Now he ought to throw it away, and he will. He's outside of the pocket, and he's got somebody in the neighborhood anyway. So good job by Michael Pratt when it looked like it was going to be a sack and a big loss.
Well, they did what they did the first time on first down when they tried to run the football and lost yardage. But here, Army brings number 53 Smith, their Mike linebacker, up the middle. There's only their fourth rusher. They only rush 3 normally, and was able to put pressure on Pratt. Got him to get rid of the football. Now they're in a very difficult 3rd and 11.
They bring an extra pass rusher. Pratt buying some time, and he's got some room. And slides. Will they give it to him?
It's going to be close.
Yeah, they're not going to give it to him, and it looked like he got there.
Well, when he hook slides, when you do that, they put it where the ball is when he starts. It's a great decision. He steps up in the pocket, knows he can get there, but every play that he's run the football all game long,
what a gamble this is.
Stayed upright.
On 4th down, I guess it's not a gamble if you hold on to it, and they get it. Jaquan Jackson did, and I only bring that up because if you joined us late in the first half, they had 3 or 4 drops of easy balls.
Well, Pratt took a hit there on that throw, which shows great confidence in the young quarterback by Will Hall, their offensive coordinator, to make that throw on 4th down, but he's paid the price for it. Took quite a hit.
He was hobbling. You remember after the one where he got away, but they kind of twisted him around a little bit and he threw it away?
Yeah.
He wasn't feeling real good after that one either. Mates now, without a worry in the world, and I'm okay, guys. Don't worry about me.
I know, and I oversold that hit. The Apache Morrison comes in here. I thought he laid a wallop on him, but just kind of tapped him on his side there, and I guess maybe even a cramp. I don't know, but it doesn't look like it's going to be much. We'll see him back in on the next snap.
Now Keon Howard comes in, a senior from Laurel, Mississippi, and Keon started the first couple of games, and during practice the coaches told us you can't believe how good he is.
Yep, he looked really great in practice.
Game situations, it doesn't always translate.
Well, here's that 2-back look where they're going to run the football, which is a wise decision.
Keep the clock going at 9:08 left, get a 12-point lead.
And a quarterback who hadn't thrown a ball all day.
Looking for a hole, and they have not been able to run the ball at all in the second half. That's Amari Jones. But I had mentioned to you, because we're watching the quarterbacks warm up about an hour before game time, he was throwing the ball really well. That is Keon Howard.
That's exactly right. And the opposite is with Pratt. Pratt, they said in practice, would throw some really
ugly,
bad balls.
Ugly. They said ugly.
He said he's gotten better at it, but they say for sure he's a gamer. He shows up. Once you get inside the boundary lines on Saturday.
It's like the golf course, right?
Yeah.
Those shanks, you leave them, and then competition comes. It's a beautiful draw.
That's right.
Looking for something, nothing there for Cam Carroll. And there is a flag down in the play.
That's in the interior. One of our big guys up front doing something they shouldn't be doing. More than likely.
Offense, number 52. The penalty is declined. 3rd down.
So now it's going to be 3rd, man, about 7. What's left for Army on their schedule after the Tulane game. And remember, Army hasn't played for 2 weeks. They were worried about timing, rhythm. Well, they picked it up. You could tell in the second quarter they got it all back. But they had 2 weeks off because the Air Force game was canceled due to COVID last week. And they had a design bye anyway on the 31st.
Yeah, it's a long time not to play football.
Especially in that system.
Middle of the season, actually.
Pratt in trouble and on his way down. Army gets the sack and a loss of a couple of yards. It's Amadeo West, who they have talked about a lot to us, the senior from Oceanside, California.
Yeah, they had 7 guys right around the quarterback. They had 3 vertical routes, and they were all covered up with help over the top. Pratt did the wise thing by bringing it down. Had no other choice.
Now remember, Army used a timeout due to personnel indecision on offense. And that was back in the 3rd quarter when they wanted to go to the unbalanced line. So they have 2 remaining with the clock ticking and 7+ to play. Robinson waits for the punt. The wobbler into the wind. And did it get him? Headed back to the goal line. And it should be a touchback. Yes, it is. Robinson really flirted with a disaster.
You don't want that.
So Army gets back. Plenty of time. 6:55 to play, but down by.
The Houston Cougars. USF coming off the loss to Memphis a week ago. They'll take on the Cougars coming up at the bottom of next hour.
Army running out of time gets it back. And this is only their third series of the second half. Not much available on the first down carry. So that's Robinson. He gets a couple of yards. And now the clock. That is the primary concern for Army. Hard to believe, though. They had the ball for 8+ minutes, didn't score. And Tulane, even though Tulane only moved to 29 yards, they had it for 5:31 in that last possession. And that's all they wanted to do was eat the clock. Anderson got a good open field play. It's Nick Anderson taking care of Christian Anderson. No relation, the junior from Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Anderson on Anderson, but that's just going to be tough for Army to be able to recover 12 points in 6 minutes at that pace.
Going in a hurry up, and look who's got this sack. All-time leader, Patrick Johnson.
There he is. We didn't think he'd get one tonight. We talked about it during the week. Probably going to stay at that number, that 23.5 sack number, but no, he got one tonight.
And it didn't take long on that sequence.
No, it did not. Guy leads the nation in sacks.
And they're going to go for it. Have to, down by a dozen on 4th down. Not unusual for them going for it on 4th down, but off schedule like this it is, and this deep in their own territory. And Tulane uses their first second half timeout. So 5:22 to play. Tulane, by the way, and this is a strange year. We all know that. We can't wait for 2020 to end, can we? But Tulane has not beaten a ranked opponent since 1984. Now, Army comes in at 6-1, and they're 25th in the USA Today Coaches Poll. So give them credit. They've taken 6 of the first 7 games, and there were no high school opponents on their schedule.
Nope, not that we know of anyway.
So Tulane, this is big for them, and it'd be a 3rd consecutive win for the Green Wave as well. Lineup for tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC. Number 13 Wisconsin, they're on the road in Ann Arbor taking on Michigan. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific on ESPN. Terrence Crawford is going to defend his WBA welterweight belt. It's against Kell Brook in Las Vegas. That's our lineup on ESPN, ABC, and it's the ESPN app as well.
Are you a boxing guy, Joel? Do you watch boxing?
You know what? In the old days, yes, a lot.
Yeah, me too.
The old days. But there became so many organizations and so many belts, you lost track.
That's exactly right. Well, see, Tulane called the timeout. Took them out of what their decision was, which was, I was in a question earlier. Why call the timeout there for Tulane and make them reconsider? But that's exactly what they did. Smart move.
Back deep for Tulane. It is Jaquan Jackson. The fake, and Tulane was ready for it. Tulane was prepared. No surprise for the Green Wave. Dorian Williams, the linebacker.
I mean, Joel, you know, I love football and I appreciate everybody who participates and coaches, but I don't understand why you take your offense out the field if you really wanted to go for it. Why put your special teams and try to surprise them on a 4th and 11?
Well, you could tell Tulane, they were alert to the possibility.
So that's my point, is you leave your offense on the field that might be a lot better equipped. I shouldn't say might be. They are a lot better equipped to handle that situation. But as I said, Tulane calls a timeout. Monken has a chance to rethink, and that's what he came up with.
It's the first time, believe it or not, in this game that either team has started with the ball in plus territory on the opponent's side of the 50. It's at the 17. Got a couple of yards at the most, make it 3 on the extra effort by Cam Carroll. They just want to keep the clock moving. 2 timeouts remaining for each side as Tulane starting to gain momentum. And I mentioned Army still has, and it's great because both head coaches went to their programs from Georgia Southern, so I like it. And both have scheduled Georgia Southern. And Jeff Monken's got up next on the schedule. Then they're off until the game in Philadelphia, December 12th, the classic Army-Navy game. Looking in the mirror. 2nd and 7.
And I can't imagine we're going to see this ball get into the air at any point.
And Jackson tried it on the jet sweep, breaks tackles. He's in. Touchdown Tulane. So if there was any doubt, it has been removed.
Great job of staying alive, spin move, and making it all the way to the end zone. You just don't see Service Academy guys missing tackles that often. They're a very disciplined group. But when you have that elusiveness like Jackson, that's the only reason that happened.
Getting better by the week for Jaquan Jackson. He had a career best 7 receptions last week in their win. Glover for the point after. And Tulane, with 4:26 to play, is going to be looking at better than the 500 mark. Nice run for the Green Wave and Willie Fritz. We congratulate Willie on 200-plus wins as he moves up with one today. But what he's brought to this program, and we mentioned it in the first few minutes of this telecast, this undergrad school of what, maybe 12? Between 12 and 13,000?
That's exactly right.
And they're competing up against schools with huge enrollments. I mean, they played Central Florida tough, and that's 65, 70,000 undergrads, plus what about the talent pool that they draw at schools like that?
That's exactly right. And the level of intellect that's required here at Tulane limits your area as well.
Glover will kick it away. And Robinson over on the far side will bring it back from the 1. And it's thrown right to Tulane for a touchdown. Now, it may have been a forward throw by the Black Knights, but taking it in, it was Jatavian Tolles, the wide receiver on special teams. You can't script that.
No, you can't, and why would you want to? That was not a good decision to make that throw. I understand it was a trick play that was designed to do that, but he's going to be hoping that that was a forward lateral, and it was pretty close.
Right.
Because we're at midfield, and it looked pretty level from where I'm sitting, which means it might have been backwards. And it doesn't look like they're even going to look at it, which seems unusual that they wouldn't do that, but I guess they're going to let it ride.
Well, with 4:20 to play, game out of reach, point is up, it's good, and that is one of the surprises you'll see all weekend.
Yeah, that's got to be a top 10.
Jatavian Coles with the touchdown.
Play of the week for ESPN right there. We served it up right there for them. They don't have to do any work. Where are you going to put it, though? That's the question. That's a good.
It definitely ranks.
It's a good 6, maybe 5.
Well, Tulane over 30 points 7 consecutive times now this season, and that matches a streak that was set 22 years ago by the 1998 team. So a lot of things going well on this campus uptown.
Getting back to Willie, though, he's 4th winningest active coach behind Nick Saban, Matt Brown, and Brian Kelly. That's quite a list.
He's done it a long time at a high level.
And we talked about it in the break. He's just a great guy. Seems to really care about his kids, which is what coaching is all about. My son was asking me whether or not he should coach middle school basketball, and I asked him, what's your reasoning for doing it? Because the #1 priority needs to be able to influence those kids.
Right. Change some lives.
Exactly.
And impact the young men, and he's definitely done that. Whether it's at Sam Houston State, Georgia Southern, we go down the list. There's a reason he's up to 219 wins. Robinson will hold it this time. And and go down just across the 15 at about the 17. Let's head back to the studio. Get the latest with Kevin Connors. Kevin.
All right, Joel. Miami trailed 24-13 midway through the third quarter, but the Canes have just taken the lead over on ESPN. De'Aaron King to Mark Pope. King has also run for a touchdown. 25-24 under 6 minutes to go. Meantime, a reminder, USF Houston coming your way, 3:30 Eastern here on ESPN2. Clayton Tune, 4th best in the American in throwing the football. USF will be shorthanded. We'll see the kickoff here on ESPN2.
Thank you, Kevin. A little more than 4 to play here in New Orleans. Across the 20 at the 22. Here's the load. And that's Jacoby Buchanan. And he has carried it a ton of today. Brought down by Dorian Williams. But there's usually not one guy bringing him down. It's gang tactic. This is the third time that Monken and Fritz have matched up. Van Willie is 3-0 in his contest with Army. Well-timed hit on the grab. And a good catch by Brandon Walters to hold on because he got rocked by Macon Clark. 3rd and a yard. And now you just want everybody to get out of here healthy. Game's been decided. Took a while to get there, but it is a first down.
Yeah, it just shows you how far off Tulane's playing.
Michael Roberts on the grab. Stop the clock momentarily for the movement of the chains. Quarterback draw. He didn't plan on throwing it, so he threw it away because he never crossed the line of scrimmage. Smart play. An intelligent quarterback. Christian Anderson. I'll stop it momentarily. But Army hung in there. Army made it a ball game. At halftime, he came in late. It was 14-12 Tulane.
Yeah, they don't miss that. They don't get that extra point blocked on that first touchdown.
Right.
And they score the second one and get the extra point. We have a tie ball game. And maybe it plays out different.
Well, it's some doubt in the mind of your opposition going into the locker room because Army had the momentum going into the halftime locker room. Buchanan, man, he is a truck. Out to the 45. And make it Atkins, rather. Atkins and Buchanan. Same size, same style. They look for contact, I think.
Yeah, that's probably high on the list rather than other positions on the field for sure.
Tipped and picked. Interception for Tulane. It was first deflected by Williams. And then the pick belongs to Willie Langham. And that'll do it. If they have to play catch up, it's a different story, as we know, for Army. Some teams, it's down in distance, throws them off schedule. But if Army's trailing, it is really tough to play catch up. Next, UFC Fight Night. That's today. It's going to be Las Vegas on ESPN+. Paul Felder going up against Rafael Dos Anjos, who's moving down in weight. Lightweight main event. Prelims at 4 Eastern, main card 7 o'clock Eastern in both English and Spanish. And to get ESPN Plus, go to ESPNplus.com or download the ESPN app. New quarterback in there. Justin Ibieta has taken over. So you get some guys in there that work hard all week in practice. It's a gain of about a yard. And a timeout for Army. We're not surprised, are we?
Well, I'm glad to see getting some PT for those guys, like you said, who are blocking dummies during the week at practice. Don't get a whole lot of experience in the game. This is just as good as any. Great reward for these kids.
Work hard. Man, these young men's out of the country day school right here in Metairie, in one of the New Orleans suburbs. And Jeff Monken just set an example for his team. And that's why I said we're not surprised. It's Army. They're not quitting.
Love those kids. They work hard.
Right.
What they do for our country. We were doing the national anthem earlier. It was hard for me to keep my composure just thinking about those kids and what they've signed up for.
He'll keep it across the midfield stripe down to the 48 of Army. And Army will use their final timeout. So Ibieta, in fact, his dad played baseball at Tulane. His mom, volleyball at your alma mater, LSU.
Wow.
It's a forgettable year for Coach O and the Tigers.
Yes, it is.
Is that tough for all you alums?
It is. I was talking on a radio show earlier this week, and it's hard because you don't want to pile on. But at the same time, they had such a great year last year,
right.
A remarkable year that really no program gets to experience. And to have such a huge drop-off has been really tough to digest.
Well, they're used to such success, even if it's not a championship. There's always 9 or 10 wins easy. It seems that way.
Herb Street made a great comment on game day a couple of weeks back that because one of the guys, I think Desmond, had said something about rebuilding. He says, no. LSU doesn't rebuild.
Right.
And that's the hard thing because losing is one thing, but losing bad is another. And it's just tough as a fan, without a doubt.
So Ibieta, whose mom is now the volleyball coach at Country Day School in Metairie, taking a third downs now. Third and about 6. And gets the block, gets the first down. And it looks like a natural. Inside the 20, and that'll do it. What a thrill for this young man. He's just a freshman.
He's got a nice stride there. It's like he didn't want to get to full speed. Like, go ahead and hit the last gear because he kept waiting to get hit, and no one did.
And you ready for this? His mom, Coach Country Day, with the 5th consecutive state title today. Today.
Wow.
I guess he's going to watch the tape later.
Great for Mom.
It's congratulations.
Yes.
Runs in the family. Man, man. From the 19. He called his own number, didn't he? So the running back in there, Logan Ammons at 5'8", 170 from New Braunfels, right outside of the San Antonio area, is like, I need a touch. I don't get snaps either.
That's right. That's right.
So Willie Fritz 5-4 Army, suffering one of their second setback of the season, and the only other one came to a really good Cincinnati team.
And they got that bowl bid after the Mercer game, the Independence Bowl up in Shreveport, and they were really proud of that. Proud for his kids.
They've won 3 bowls in a row.
Yeah, that's a tough draw for any team. You have to go play Army in a bowl game because I've played in a few myself. A couple of Sugar Bowls here in New Orleans. And it's hard to get up for those games when they don't count. And when you're playing a team like Army, guess what? You better bring it.
And by the way, look at this appreciating the success of one of the guys that backs him up. Same age. That's a healthy atmosphere is what Willie's got.
Without a doubt, you love to see that. Kids pulling for each other.
Josh Hall
and that's
in there now at quarterback.
That's the greatest element that you cannot formulate is team.
Right. And he gives it off to a guy that doesn't get Logan Ammons, who doesn't get touches. And he's holding onto the ball like it's a bar of gold.
That's awesome.
That's it. Tulane's over 500, and they've won 3 consecutive games. And 2 coaches that know each other well. We'll meet, and we'll also see the impressive Army squad as they gather, like Tulane at the end of the game. Well, Brian enjoyed it as usual. And Army did everything they could in the first half. It just got away in the second 30 minutes. For Brian Kinchin, Lenny Van Gilder helping us up in the booth, I'm Joel Myers. Thank you for joining us at Tom Benson Field, Ullman Stadium in New Orleans. Final score, Green Wave 38, Black Knights 12. Now remember, all games airing on the ESPN networks, streaming live and archived on the ESPN app as well. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Thank you for being with us so long from the Big Easy. And don't go anywhere. Kevin Connors, Jim Mora Jr. Coming up next, we'll head to the scoreboard with those two.